meeting to order. Ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. When I ask our student representative from Thomas Walker High School, Samantha Cabin, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Amen. First thing we have is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next on the agenda is recognition of the student representative to the school board.
Mr. Chairman, I want to announce that we have two new student representatives from Thomas Walker. As you've already mentioned, we have Ms. Samantha Cabin, and from Lehigh, we have Ms. Miley Stapleton. So we're happy to have both of those on the school board.
Next, we have public comment. I will remind you, you're limited to 5 minutes. Don't directly attack anybody, otherwise say your piece. So please introduce yourself so the clerk can write your name down in the minutes. So if anybody at this time would like to come and address the board, come to the podium.
Donnie Baumgartner. On October 4th, 2022, my niece's daughter and some other students went to the principal's office and reported that a teacher had alcohol in the classroom. The state police came to the school and escorted her from the school. That evening, on the walkway going over to vocational school, she was attacked by two senior girls that beat up. Gary Parsons, I talked to him and Ford Credit, and they had determined that they would turn it over to the school board at the next meeting with a choice of her resigning or being fired. She came early and went out the side door. We had a Kingsport newspaper reported with us. And he asked the board members outside about it, and they said they had no comment. In juvenile court, they were forced to write letters of apology. The one girl came out of a religious family, and she said that they liked the teacher very much and that the teacher gave them beer here at school. This should have never happened, and I think that the teacher has a problem, drinking problem, and it was known that she had a problem. She should have been sent to rehab or something. She should have been taken care of. And that's my comment on that. And the judge was from Clintwood, and he put his head down. He couldn't believe what was being said. And Brian Coomer was in juvenile court that day, and there were some other people here from Lee High School. And like I said, this is an embarrassment to the school. And the other thing I have to discuss is the use of school board vehicles for personal use. Okay? At the bus shop, they use a service truck to go shopping at Walmart on Saturday night, take their wives grocery shopping. About 3 weeks ago, I let Woodway Water come over on my property to run a water line so the neighbors could get water. We were sitting out watching. That morning, it was around 11 o'clock, we saw the vehicle come in and get a woman, pick it up and come back out. Our county money should be spent for transporting stuff for personal use and for grocery shopping and stuff like that. And I have a problem with people taking the service vehicle home with them. That's we just can't afford it.
Anyone else?
My name's Robert Baumgartner. And first of all, I know there's some religious people in here, and here's a short scripture for you. What you whispered in the corner shall be shouted from the rooftop. Now, you folks are supposed to be good stewards of money and have a good place, safe place for the students. I don't think it's been such with you all. And when I say this, the teachers always believe it. But in proficiency, Scott County, we county students in reading and math. Now, this thing about accredited with conditions, there shouldn't be any conditions. That's just temporary, according to what I researched. It's a temporary situation. We've had a great population drop in this county, and a population drop of students, and we can't keep on hiring more teachers. I just don't see where the money's going to come from. You can't put it all back in the taxpayer. I know at the end of the year, you all clean out your budget by spending every penny you can on something. You're just like the military, so you can get more the next time. Now this comes from the Department of Education up Richmond. Lee County has not all, but one of the worst school boards in the whole state. That came from Richmond, Department of Education. Now, there's a rumor, it's a rumor, that y'all trying to buy one of Ryco's coaches for $10,000 more a year. You can laugh if you want to, that's fine.
I am laughing, trust me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway, well, I've always heard for the smoke, there's a fire. But anyway, you all moved the 8th grade to middle school out here too. Y'all got nothing against athletics. But is that so that we could become a single A here again? Is that the reason? I'd like to know the reason why you moved them out there. I mean, I've asked a lot of questions, and I've never gotten a whole lot of answers. Teachers are supposed to be licensed and accredited in the areas in which they teach. So I've asked that question repeatedly. It's a code of Virginia. I've looked it up, I've researched it. It just ain't coming out of my hat. Yes, it was my granddaughter was attacked over on this bridge. Am I happy about it? No. But I'm not happy about a teacher in school having booze. Now, if I get caught on this school ground with booze, even at a football game, I'll go to jail. Is that not true, Mr. Lawyer?
I'm not law enforcement, I don't know the answer to that. But it's prohibited on school property, I can tell you that.
Okay. I always heard what's fire for one's fire for all. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the board. My name is Brian Hogan. I'm in District 3. I come to you as a citizen of Lee County, and I think one of the very many concerned citizens we have about some things that everyone's hearing, some things that have been documented, and some of those concerns would be things like hearing that there were volunteers in the community willing to donate time and effort and energy into redoing the Ely Dale baseball field. I believe they were denied that. Even though that would have been free to the community, it would have saved money for the schools, it would have potentially saved money for taxpayers. And please, if I speak out of turn, feel free to correct me. These are just concerns I'm hearing. I'm hearing things about well north of $100,000 in rented equipment from Glass Machinery that's basically set idle and not been used. Of course, we know about the ongoing investigation, which I'm sure is going to lead to an indictment. I think more concerning is perhaps how we didn't know those funds were missing for over 6 months, and then all those booster checks got cashed at one time, leading to some hard situations for a lot of folks. probably not the best way to handle that. We have schools with less than 100 students in Lee County. That is a tremendous amount of overhead. I hope that there's some sort of plan to look into what we can do to streamline our school system rather than having a school with less than 100 students. We still have to pay the electricity bill, we still have to pay for buses and transportation and maintenance and the staffing for that school. That can't be the best way to use our funds. And on top of that, Lee County has a student to teacher ratio of 13-1. Now, I think that most of you all probably know that is quite out of line with the state regulations. We're one of the poorest counties in the state, and yet somehow we have the luxury of having a 13-1 student ratio. When most of the time, of course it varies on grade, it may be, I think for kindergarten, 24-1. I think for high school is as many as 26 or something. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I don't think any of that's shooting high. I think that's probably on the low end. Yet here, in our tiny community, 13-1. Now, I certainly am not suggesting that we fire teachers, but I do know this. I know that next year, our county is going to have less population than it does this year. I know that we have half the population we used to have. In fact, I know that we have half the number of students that we used to have. I know that 30 or 40 years ago, how many people were in the school board office? 2 or 3? How many do we have in the school board office now? And I know it's not as straightforward and simple as just numbers. I realize that the state puts a lot of mandates on us as far as ratios and special needs, and I get that. I understand that completely, and I'm sure some of those positions are needed to address the mandates that the state puts on us. I know that we have positions that the state doesn't require until we meet twice the number of students. Twice the number of students, and yet we have positions created in some of our schools. And all of us are going to get a tax bill next month. And that's when this place is going to be full. Because this county doesn't realize how much their taxes are going up. We were basically held hostage by the Lee County school system. I know I said at the board meeting last week, this is a personal concern, or not last week, excuse me, last month, the board of supervisors meeting, and one of our older citizens was speaking, and I watched some of the educators in this county heckle that man and tell him he should leave the county. Don't take my word for it, it's recorded. If you don't recall it, go back and watch the video. That is a severe lack of professionalism. That's about as unprofessional as it gets. Not to mention, I've seen, of course, lots of comments back and forth online, and I don't get tied up in those spats. I don't have anything against anybody on the board. I don't have anything against anybody in the school system. I have a concern about the overall encompassment of how we best educate our students in the most economically way possible. I would like to remind the board that you weren't elected by the Lee County Public School System. You don't work for Lehigh. You don't work for Thomas Walker. You work for the citizens of this county. You are our representatives and our go-to, I'll finish up in 1 second, our go-to between the school system and the citizens of this county, and I would ask that you bear that in mind. Thank you.
My name is Randy Cox. Let me get situated here. I'm going to start my timer. I'm going to try to respect the 5 minutes. So good evening, board members. I'm here to address the fundamental breakdown of administrative accountability and this board's unwillingness to hold administrators responsible when they fail to perform a basic duty. Now, $150,000 is an estimate, but it's probably not going to be over that. Was stolen from money our parents, kids worked to raise, money businesses donated, money from concession stands, ball games. The theft occurred because the administration failed to do something that even a high school student could handle, which is monthly bank statements. County policy requires that them statements be reviewed by the 10th of every month. That's a 30 or 40 minute work, and our administrators didn't review a single statement in February through June. The bank statements for March, April, May, and June were never done. Never checked, administrators never done anything, never turned anything to central office. Central office never tried to get them. Nobody did nothing to a bank statement from March until June. There are 0 deposits made into the school account from March till June. Some February deposits were made, but if you were catching on to what was going on, not all the basketball games were deposited. In March, the bank reported counterfeit checks, 18, 19, 20 checks. Now, even with that warning, administrators still did not check bank statements, and another $11,000 estimated got lost. Every administrator who failed remains in their position, still making decisions, still collecting paychecks, still trusting with responsibility they've proven they cannot handle. This board removed coaches for poor performance, teachers who won't meet standards, removed the previous superintendent when he refused certain hiring procedures. But when administrators fail catastrophically, accountability becomes optional. Now, nepotism is what keeps these people on their position. The Family and Friends Network you've got going lets family and friends do whatever they want. When they fail, they have no fear of losing the job, and it needs to stop. I've received calls from teachers reporting that someone around here was taking around a petition for everyone to sign. Now, and the teachers asked what happened when they refused to sign it. Well, we're giving it to the administrators. Well, that's harassment and a lawsuit. So, if county policy requires monthly bank statements being reviewed, then administrators who ignore this for months and must face discipline. If administrators can't perform basic oversights, they shouldn't hold up to such positions. But here's my challenge. If policies don't apply to those administrators, ignore them, make it official today. Just say administrators' duties are optional, and at least be honest about your expectations. A couple of weeks ago, I questioned why I was let go as a baseball coach. Now I understand, because I can stand up here without fear of retaliation. This won't end tonight, and I continue advocating for accountability until these failing administrators face consequences or the board demonstrates genuine oversight. And I'm not saying that these administrators need to be fired or sent home. I'm not as ruthless as some of you let on. I'm not saying they should be done like I was, fired. Just tell them that you're going in a different direction and it's not personal. They can return to teaching and never hold administration position again. That's real accountability. If you refuse to act, maybe a petition needs to be started to remove you off the board and get somebody that will hold people accountable. And one final thing, if these administrators feel like they've done their job and the first thing they need to do is go home and look in the mirror and ask yourself, did I do my job correctly? And I can answer that for you because it's right here on this table. No, you did not. So whose fault is it? Is it the guy calling you out on your accountability, or is it the administrators looking in the mirror that didn't do their job? Everything I have said here tonight is true. And how do I know it's true? Because once again, it's sitting right here in front of me. But my question is, how many of you board members have been through the bank statements? I would like to know that one. Maybe if you ain't, maybe you ought to look at it. Maybe you'll change your mind about it. But there's one last thing that I want to say. This is not about a baseball coach and getting fired as a baseball coach. This has nothing to do with that. I took that decision before the board. They made a decision, and Lord knows it's a blessing not to be coaching. I still love the kids that play for me. All this here is tonight is accountability, nepotism, and I'm here to say that what do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to be quiet? And what better way than to do it is to stand up here and the facts are right here. And I know some of you sitting at that table know that these facts are in here. I know you know they're there. And if you've not looked at it as a board, you need to. Because it is crazy what the administration did not do with this high school to let that money go out the door. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address the board? Anyone else? Give you a chance. All right, if not, we'll just move on to board comments. Do any of the board members have comments?
I want to say it's been a good transition back into start of open session of school. Had a chance to visit schools all through the county, and schools look really good. good morale, I guess you would say, throughout the schools, and a lot of, and been able to go and help some kids in from car rider lines and stuff like that, and the kids are excited to be back in the classroom, and I'm looking forward to a good school year. Anyone else?
I would like to say I visited 6 schools in the county and plan on getting to the rest of them, but they said it's one of the best school years that they've ever started, and I'm just real happy. We need to get on and be ready to back it's all about our students and then our teachers and support personnel, and I hope we can have the best school year ever.
I went as well, visiting on the first day. We started Johnsonville Middle and just seeing some changes of the entrance there was amazing. It looks so good. That's my alma mater, and I'm proud to see the safety of 2 sets of doors and then a window at the wall instead of walking around to the office. And that looked really good. I'm glad to see that. We went on to Pennington Middle, and Mrs. Gunner made some changes of where the lockers are or were, and she has put a bench across that area for kids to put their bags on, their backpacks, and they don't have to try to figure out their combination anymore. So I was impressed with that. I've never seen that before. Moving on to Elk Knob. So excited and proud to see the new gym floor at Elk Knob. It's beautiful. New paint on the ceiling and walls, and it just looks so great. Mr. Huff is so excited, and so am I. The kids, I'm sure, will be proud when they go have their gym classes, and those of you that ever went to school there, you need to go look at it. It's something to be proud of. We went on to Dryden, and Mrs. Dave said that they were having a very good day, smooth transition. All the schools were just real pleased of how smoothly everything was going at the beginning of that morning. Then we went on to St. Charles and visited Mr. Robbins, which is his first year there, and he's excited about it. It's a little different with the little ones and everything, but he's excited to work with the little ones. And you know, I've watched Ray grow up playing ball at the Lehigh, going to school at Lehigh, knew his mother, and she was guidance counselor secretary, and she was always excited about Ray playing baseball, being a coach of baseball in Lehigh. And I remember saying to her, that was one of her wishes, and I told Ray that day, I said, your mother will be proud of you for where you are today. So we had a good visit. We plan on, it took us the whole afternoon, and so we plan on starting at Flatwoods and go down and make sure everything's going well. And we always tell them, you know, anything you need, let us know. You know, kids have always been my passion as a former teacher, and I'm all about them, and I'm all about supporting the teachers. I was that teacher at one time, and you know, I had my disappointments at times, and with the administration or whatever, but it all got worked out, and we're here because of our love for our children of Lee County. I don't have just a classroom of kids, I have a county of kids, and just want to know we care, and we want to see this school system move forward in a positive way.
I just want to say I like for you folks to go around and look at our schools. You know, we've had a lot of improvements over the last 2 or 3 years, and I think it looks good. Like I was talking about Elk Knob, you know, go check out Rob's gym floor out. It's good. Thomas Walker down there, Jones. Like I say, some people think it's foolish some of the things that we've done, but I think it helps our school system. It looks good, you know. When people drive by and see good looking school, I think that helps. I reckon everything went good and smooth, you know. We had a couple of hiccups there at Elk Knob, you know, with it's kind of congested right there a little early, but we got that worked out. Things smoothed out now, so I think everything's going smooth. Everybody's kind of tickled to be back. Not all the kids are tickled to be back. You'll have some of us who we didn't like it, but anyway. But it seems like the teachers are glad to be back, and everything is going good. So I just hope to continue that to go good.
I was able also to attend a few schools on the first day of school, 2 in my district, Flatwoods and Jones in particular. Seems like everything's getting off to a good start. We're going to try to visit some more if I can get some time. Also, I do want to say on a sad note that I think since the last meeting, Willie Muncie passed away. Willie was an employee at Lee County Public Schools, and he will be missed. And finally, I'll just say that I'm proud of Lee County Public Schools. And I'm proud of the product that we're putting out. My daughter's one of them. And I'll be shocked if she's not very successful in life. And me and my wife are both products of Lee County Public Schools. And we both get successful in our own little way. I have a lot of family members and a lot of friends, obviously, that are products of Lee County Public Schools. And if you ridicule the product that's being put out in this county, it just means that the kids that you're following aren't putting forth the effort, and they don't have the home life and the parents to actually support them and get them an education. Because if they want it, and if they're capable of it, they'll get it in Lee County Public Schools. So don't come in here and lecture me about foolishness like that, because that's all it is. We'll move on. Next is...
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I forgot what okay. Welcome to our student representatives. Trial by fire tonight. Congratulations. But also, our condolences and our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Janet Neal family that passed away from Thomas Walker.
I'm talking about that.
And, so it's been a weird transition, but I think it's been a good transition and a good person to fill that role and move us on.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Under consent agenda, A, approval of minutes from the July 10th, 2025 regular meeting. Under B, approval of claims and expenditures. C, approval of special education advisory committee officers. D, approval of Head Start 2024-2025 handbooks, plans, bylaws, and self-assessments. E, approval for Head Start to apply and submit grant 03CH012927-02. F, approval of field trip, Elydale Middle School 7th grade, Kennedy Sumter, Cincinnati, Ohio, May 18, 2026. Pennington Middle School, John Oliva, Colonial Williamsburg, Jamestown, Yorktown, Charlottesville, May 18, 2026. G, approval of update to Lee County Public School Policy KBA-R, request for public information. H, action if any, to approve fees for the 2025-2026 school year for School Board Policy JN, student fees, fines, and charges. I, approval of workers' compensation panel of positions. J, approval of disposal of surplus property per School Board Policy DN, disposal of surplus items. And finally, K, authorize the division superintendent to fill vacancies existing or occurring between August 14th, 2025 through September 11th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
Also moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, reports of the board. Are there any reports of the board? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll move on to reports of the student representative. Miley, you want to start out and introduce yourself? Tell us where you go and all that.
My name is Miley Stapleton, and I am a student at Lee High School. I'm a senior this year. I'm honored to serve as the student representative for the fall semester of the 2025 to 2026 school year. Mr. Dean has asked me to speak about some things that are happening at Lee High. The first few days have been pretty wonderful. Everyone's just starting to get in the groove of things again. I would like to say we're having our senior sunrise and breakfast this Friday, August 15th. Our clubs are opening their applications, such as DECA, FBLA, Science Club, FFA, SCCLA, Skill Club, Pep Club, Beta Club. They've either already opened their applications or they're opening early next week. Our golf team has had some success this past week. They placed first at the Farmers and Miners Tournament. Our cross-country team has got their own home course at Arrowbee Ranch, which they're very excited about that. That's been in the works for a few years, they said. Our football team will travel to Tazewell for their first scrimmage tomorrow. And also our homecoming week and homecoming game is coming up. That will be on September 12th against Richlands. And we also are having a homecoming parade on September 6th.
Thank you. Samantha?
Like Miley said, I'm very honored to
Introduce yourself.
Huh?
Introduce yourself.
Oh,
Tell us who you are.
My name is Samantha Cabin. I'm a student at Thomas Walker High School, and I'm a senior. And like Miley said, I'm very honored to be selected for this position. And our happening at school is over the summer, we had 2 girls go to the state track meet. And Maddie Burke went for the high jump competition, and she got 4th place. And Amelia Lewis went for running, and she got 7th in the 3200 and 12th in the 1600. Our gym is being renovated currently, and the peeks that I've got of it through the window, it looks very nice. It's going very well, I hear. We had our blood drive today, and it seemed like we had a really good turnout of students donating for that, and we have another one scheduled for October 23rd. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. we have a senior sunrise planned, and we seem to be having a good turnout of kids who want to come for that. And tomorrow also our football team is heading to the Jamboree at UVA Wise. Our 8th graders seem to be settling in very well in the transition to high school. And our Beta Club was so kind to help and make orientation run very smoothly this year.
Thank you for the reports. Next, reports of the division superintendent, Mr. Dean.
Mr. Chairman, I also want to report that the first day of school went well. I mean, we did have some bus issues, which is typical because families move during the school year. We have some that don't know where to get on the bus. We always have some kids that forget which bus they ride at the end of the day, so they get on some different buses and it takes a little while to get them home. We had a few pickup issues, like Mr. Williams said, on the first day of school. A lot of the parents pick their children up, so that kind of causes congestion. But I want to report that the first day of school went very well. And also want to report that we're looking at right at 2,728 or so students. We built a budget on 2,730, so we're right around that number. We're still dealing with some no-shows that we're trying to find where they win if they move to a different school division, and that school division just hasn't started yet, so we don't have any points of records. But we did transition the 5th grade back to 4 of the elementary schools. I know there was a comment, St. Charles currently has 117 students. That would be the smallest school in the county. We moved 8th grade back to Jonesville and Pennington. I talked to those administrators, they said it was going very well. So, I think we got off to a good start. You have in your packet the transportation and operations update. If you have any questions on those, I'd be more than glad to answer those, and that's all I have at this time.
Okay. Next are action discussion items. Action, if any, to request that the Lee County Board of Supervisors reappropriate unspent state funding in FY25 to the Lee County School Board General Fund for fiscal year 2026, FY26. Do we have a motion?
Also moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I will say that is for $5,623,269.56. $761,485 of that is the all-in tutoring money that we got a couple of years ago that we were able to carry across multiple years. That has to be encumbered by September the 30th of 2026. $417,570 of that is infrastructure and operations money that we have carried over, but the state allows us to do that. $363,280 is textbook money that we have carried over from one year to the next, and the remaining $4,080,934.56 is direct state payments that we are allowed to carry over from one year to the next. So I'm asking that you all allow us to go to the Board of Supervisors to ask for that money to be carried over from one year to the next, or it goes back to the state. I do think there are some caveats that part of it has to stay with us, but we do have to ask permission for the Board of Supervisors for the carryover and reappropriation.
Okay,
I think, could I say this? I think these numbers kind of show that we have been really good stewards of the money. I mean, I know we get a lot of harassment and a lot of issues. So. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Had discussion. All in favor, signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss personnel under Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711A1, school crisis plans under Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711A19, Student admission, 2.2-3711A2, a request to release a student from compulsory attendance pursuant to the Code of Virginia, Section 22.1-254B1, and pending and threatened litigation under the Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711A7. Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor, signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are now in closed session. Thank you for coming.